So I just got done with sort of a YouTube marathon. It's like 4:12 in the morning. I'm in my underwear, which no, you will not get to see. I don't even have the excuse of demonetization, but I'm just trying to be a decent human. Not always working. Doesn't always work. Decency. It's a struggle. Just like that light. Ooh, but look at when it hits just so. Anyway, so I was watching a lot of YouTube, and one of my favorite things that I'd ever seen on YouTube, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend the Day 9 Daily Episode 100. It's Sean Plott Day 9, a StarCraft and StarCraft 2 commentator, personality, and former. Would you call it a pro player? Um, sure, let's go with that. And Day 9 just talks about his life. He talks about his adventures with his brother in video game madness. And it occurred to me this there's something similar. Satisfaction that I used to get from gaming that is translated onto music, and now it's translated onto something sort of less tangible for me. Esports was simple, right? When I played Warcraft 3 competitively, it was you win or you don't. And when you don't win, you figure out why and you get better and you do that. Music, when framed in more of like a classical sense, right? If you're an opera singer, if you're a pianist, if you're going out for an audition, it's not that you can't be an artist, but you're really there to fill a role. You're there to do a very specific job. It's not winning or losing, right? It's still art, but it is defined. And so I don't go out and I don't to the opera house anymore. I rarely go out much at all. I spend most of my time, my free time, just sort of enjoying uh, content online. I spend a lot of time on Mixer, on YouTube, some on Instagram still. And I've spent an exorbitant rather, I guess, amount of time trying to figure out why I'm having such a damn good time um, trying to make content and trying to figure out how I'm going to go live. How am I going to take that live content, edit it, and put it to YouTube without hiring an editor because I can't afford one? Right? I learned to code in order to do that, and some stuff has been written very much with the help of an individual, Schuster. Thank you. But in general, it's been really interesting because for me, I don't know if anyone if anyone else watching or I don't know if anyone is watching this and sort of caring. This if I don't even know if my process is visible, but there's this lack of certainty, I think, for once, which feels genuine, right? Warcraft 3, you win, you lose, boom. When you're auditioning, you are disciplined. You wake up at I used to college 5 a.m. 4 a.m. Every day, practice for 3 hours, school, all that. Um, but when I hit this roadblock, I guess, in singing, right? And what had happened was I I didn't have high notes. I'm a tenor. That's a bad thing, right? That's a higher male voice type without high notes. It's not professionally viable in the classical world. And I have high notes maybe compared to what is ordinarily considered a high note for a man, but I'm not like Pavarotti whipping out a high C, right? And I had this roadblock, and I started seeing this teacher, and her whole thing is just like finding ease, finding ergonomics being optimal, and that in order to do that, in order to be relaxed uh, and find ease, you kind of need to live your life in a certain way. And one of the things that ends up happening mentally when you do that, or when one does that, is that, well, you just stop thinking about everything. I'm not going to call it Zen because I certainly don't feel like I've hit any sort of epiphany or anything like that. I mean, look at this hair. I'm self conscious about it and I think about it. And that's normal, and I'm sure that that's going to always be a thing. Um, but yeah, I just have found myself enjoying a process without a destination. There's no goal. I don't know what the goal is. And every time I try to put a goal, I want to upload one YouTube video a day. Like, say that's a goal, right? Well, what's that going to look like? What's the content? And there's something about that feels disingenuous. I was going to say artistically disingenuous, but I don't know if there's really a difference there. I think, I'm trying to do something, and am I trying to exert control over it, or am I trying to do the thing? And what I mean by that is, if I knew exactly what I was doing, it would be done. If I'm creating a piece of content and I have an A to B roadmap, I'm already on B. You don't know what the end product is going to be like. You don't know what the end of the journey is until you've walked that path, right? And so that goes for content, goes for music, goes for life. And there's this process that I've been having, which is this, it's very exploratory. And I think it's really fun. And I'm having a blast. And I was watching this. This all came up. I was watching a Philip DeFranco's podcast channel, a conversation with, and he and Casey Neistat were going back and forth. And the way that Casey Neistat talked about his vlog was really interesting. It was he just said that you go in, you film your entire day, and then in editing the video, you find the story. And I was like, damn. No wonder. Like, I watch his vlogs, and if you haven't seen a Casey Neistat vlog, it's worth a watch. They're really interesting, and he does have interesting stories to tell, kind of interesting life insights and all that. And I thought there was something so clever about that. It's like, here's a good idea for content, right? It inherently keeps it fresh. You're discovering. And I guess that's what I'm liking about the new process. Is that I'm discovering what it is that I'm in this phase where things aren't answered yet. And that's actually, when I was the most in love with Warcraft 3, it's because I had no idea what I was doing. None. Zero. And then eventually I hit top 100 on the ladder. And in music, I had no idea what I was doing, and it was a wonderful process of discovery. And then, I have a degree, and I think I know, but then I don't, right? Because I'm stuck, and I need someone's help. She wouldn't take me on as a student until I answered one of her questions. And that question was, what do you need to be better? And I said, if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be here looking for a teacher. She smiled, and so then we started taking lessons together. And I have grown faster as a singer studying with her and taking that approach than I have ever gotten better at anything ever. A year ago, I was having trouble singing on pitch. There was just so many problems, and I haven't shown that on here or on Instagram or really in a lot of places. I don't think I've shared enough to where, or it's certainly not consistently enough, to where people see this sort of arc. I'm okay with that for now. I'm excited to share more. I don't know how, but I'm excited to discover how. So, yeah. If you've watched to this point, thanks for watching. If you were expecting a point, I guess maybe discovery. It's pretty neat.